Sveiki 15 min žiūrovai ir skaitytojai. Šiandien pakalbėsime apie kinų propagandą Taivane, kaip ji veikia, kaip taivaniečiai regi Kinijos propagandą, dezinformaciją. Ir šią progą jungiamės tiltu su Taivanu, su kinų politikos profesoriumi, Kinijos propagandos tyrėju iš Taivano Titus Chen. Mes kalbėsime angliškai, jūs matysite titrus, vertimą ir aš jau sveikinuosi su Titus. Hello, professor.
Hi.
Okay, so we can start from yesterday's news that China's Air Force again entered Taiwan defense zone. It has become illegal practice for China. And would you call it a part of Chinese information war, the hard power?
We have experienced such Chinese operations on our air defense zone for over 2 years. So it's a daily operation. Yes, I would say that's part of China's coercive operations against Taiwan, but not just against Taiwan. It is also targeting the United States and the Japanese forces in the vicinity.
Okay, and let's talk about the tendencies and news regarding China's information war, propaganda. What are the news? What are the tendencies in Taiwan?
Other than this incursion into our air defense zone, we also sustain, we have on a daily basis or weekly basis, non-stopping disinformation campaigns from China. Recent, we have a big media controversy regarding the celebrities spreading disinformation from China, and the government is investigating who is initiating this campaign.
Who are those celebrities? Do you have any idea?
We have some Facebook fan page managers spreading the information that many Taiwanese children die because of COVID, which is not true. And this is just one of the most recent disinformation targeting the Taiwan government and Taiwan society, trying to sow the seed of discord among Taiwanese people. And sometimes celebrities such as movie stars, singers, social media opinion leaders, they join this campaign as well.
We, of course, face Russian propaganda here in Lithuania more than Chinese, and we see certain narratives that Russia forms. What narratives about Taiwan is forming China?
In the content of Chinese disinformation, Taiwan has been described as an island, as a society where there is no harmony, and that there is a great distrust between the government and the people. And also the Chinese disinformation has persistently portrayed Taiwan as a society that pursues unification with China, which again is not true.
And of course, we are interested in the question, is Lithuania's and China's conflict over Taiwanese representative office in Vilnius impacted China's propaganda in Taiwan in some ways?
Sorry, could you repeat the question again?
Has Lithuania's and China's conflict over Taiwanese representative office in Lithuania impacted China's propaganda in Taiwan somehow?
Well, Taiwan set up a representative office in Lithuania, and China is not, of course, China is not happy with that. So the Chinese propaganda in the past few months threatened to take away more countries that so far have recognized Taiwan as a vengeance, as a revenge against Taiwan-Lithuania relations.
So you should be. China threatens other countries who would think to act as Lithuania acted, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. China tried to prevent more countries from joining Lithuania in having a closer relationship with Taiwan.
You've mentioned a little bit of how Chinese propaganda works in Taiwan, but maybe you could elaborate it in what channels, social media, traditional media, how Chinese propaganda work in Taiwan?
Chinese propaganda normally works with what we call local collaborators in the media industry. Also, those self-media, social media celebrities who we don't know if they receive financial support from Chinese government, but a good number of them do spread pro-China, pro-Beijing discourse on social media. And some conventional media such as TV stations, news program also collaborated with Beijing on spreading disinformation or pro-China information.
How much or how deeply Taiwanese are affected by this propaganda? What do you think? It's not like it's not easy to say, but what do you think?
Well, it depends on your political color or your political identification. In Taiwan, in our society, we still have a group of people who identify themselves as Chinese, who wants unification with China, and Chinese propaganda is working very well with this group of people. But other than this group of people, I can tell you that Chinese propaganda is not popular, and in this market of ideas in Taiwan, China's propaganda is a minority products. Not many people buy their propaganda products.
Okay, that's good news. There is united front work in Chinese Communist Party. What role has this united front work?
United front work generally means that Communist Party make acquaintance with non-Communist Party people, especially opinion leaders, politicians, media elites, business elites, those who are influential in society, are the target of their united front work.
Okay, so they are working in other countries, not in China, probably. Yes, the main work is in foreign countries.
It's both. It's both within China and in international society. The purpose, the agenda of United Front work is to reduce social or international resistance to Communist Party policy. And the more friends they make, the more friends Communist Party makes in Lithuania, in Taiwan, then the less resistance the local society will have toward Communist Party policies.
How do they approach people?
Well, they will do research on people that they want to make friends with. So if let's say I'm a scholar teaching in university, then United Front work, people will approach me in a formula that I'm familiar with. Maybe they will come as a student, they will come as a scholar, as my colleague, and they want to know more about my research. So the first step is always to make friends with me, make sure that they have a positive image in front of me. And then they will begin to maybe invite you to China and they will pay for everything from air ticket to hotel to meals, and they can show you around, tell you how great China is, and you should really be, on their side. That's the next step of United Front work.
Nothing is free. In Lithuania, we felt the Chinese embassy's contribution to creating and spreading disinformation. We felt how Chinese soft power and hard power on economics work. What role Chinese embassies have? What role they play in spreading the propaganda?
Usually in Chinese embassy or consulate, this kind of job is carried out by cultural affairs group. There usually is in the Chinese embassy in any country, there is a cultural affairs division, and usually in combination with educational affairs division. So it's cultural and educational affairs division that is in charge of spreading pro-China information.
So Confucius institutes are very important in this case, right?
Yes, indeed.
How do they work?
Like their Confucius Institute functions like Chinese embassy's fingers and the ears and the eyes and tongues to make sure that they have local intelligence. They want to make sure that they have proper intelligence about academic, about university, about student, about professors who are pro-China, who are anti-China, and also they want to know who they can keep in touch with when there's a major event such as Chinese prime minister visiting or president visiting. They want to know who they can talk to make arrangements for such a high-profile visits.
And also Western diplomats usually use terms one China principle and one China policy equally. But what are the differences between these terms?
One China principle is what China wants all the countries in the world to adopt. By one China principle, there are three parts. The first part says there is only one China in the world. The second part is the PRC government is the only legal government of China. And the third part is Taiwan is part of this China. So that's one China principle. But one China policy is different. Different countries have different one China policy. The United States has, I can say, United States government has one China policy that is somewhat similar to China's one China principle, but also different. The United States government's one China policy is it recognizes that there is only one China in the world. It also recognizes that PRC government is the only legal government representing China in the world, but Washington does not recognize Taiwan as part of China. The most Washington will tell Beijing is that the United States government acknowledges that China claims Taiwan as part of it. That's the most they can tell.
Okay, that's a big difference and very important. And also, United States President Joe Biden recently said that U.S. would defend Taiwan if China attacked it. Speaking more broadly, how war in Ukraine affects Chinese perception of Taiwan?
Okay. Well, actually, we suspect that President Biden said that, which is not a slip of his tongue, but reflected his true agenda. But we cannot verify that. We also suspect that the Russian-Ukraine war currently going on affects President Biden's assessment of cross-strait relations, because of this strategic ambiguity policy may not be enough to prevent China from attacking or invading Taiwan eventually. So it seems to me, and also to other commentators in Taiwan, that we've seen some slow motions on the part of the United States government that moves its Taiwan policy from strategic ambiguity to strategic clearance, which is huge, which is big change regarding U.S. Taiwan policy.
Do you feel safer now than before?
That's hard to tell. In the past, we know that as long as we work with the United States and Japan, then China is not able to attack all three of us at the same time. But now Chinese military forces have modernized, have increased its firepower, have become smarter, more powerful, to the extent that the United States Navy and the Marine is very concerned that their original advantage does not or no longer sustain. So are we feel safer now? Yes and no. No, because China is stronger and more powerful than before. But yes, because other countries now understand how delicate, how precarious the Taiwan Strait situation has been.
Thank you for the interview, Titus.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for your time here. Mes kalbėjome su kinų politikos profesoriumi, Kinijos propagandos tyrėju iš Taivano Titus Chen. Tai šis įrašas lieka kaip visada 15min.lt portale. Jeigu kažką praleidote, kviečiu pasižiūrėti. Iki.